Budokai Tenkaichi 3 has become a very current subject on my channel, and since the previous videos regarding the tops of characters in both Dragon Ball FighterZ and Naruto Storm 4 had a tremendous reception, I don't see why not making a new top but with the best characters from Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I know several of you guys have been asking me to do it, so here it is. Let's start. Before we start, remember that this is a top with my personal opinion, it is not a definitive ranking. Let me know in the comments what would be your personal top of the best characters on this game. I remind you that you can follow me on my social media so you don't miss anything from the channel. You can find the link in the description down below. Without more to say, let's start. Number 10. Super Baby 2. This is a very standard and common character for many. In other words, it's not a big deal, but the reason why I place him at the lowest point of this top is thanks to its variety of skills. For me, a very complete character is one who has special tracking attacks, a beam of power, and an ultimate that is not limited by any other circumstances external to the player. I mean, most of his attacks are very useful, and despite the fact that he lacks of a rush attack, he can be very versatile. The fact of having the explosive wave to interrupt the rival's combo is already a big point in favor, and if you want to go try hard, you can transform yourself into the golden grade A, which is not bad at all. Number 9. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. If I had to describe this Goku briefly, it would be one of the developers' favorites. The level of detail on his moveset is very remarkable compared to other characters, and by this I don't mean that they are only good looking and spectacular powers. At the utility level, they are also quite good. It has a Kamehameha that doesn't need to be charged, a decent rush attack, and an ultimate that is not very easy to connect because it has no tracking, but if you already have a clear idea of how the game mechanics work, it won't be much of a problem to pull off that Dragon Fist. Besides, if you have Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta as a partner, they can fuse and gain a few extra life bars. Number 8. Perfect Cell. We begin to advance to the top and we find the most perfect version of the perfect being. This cell has a ray of power that has a special attack property. I mean, it's not like the little streak of Frieza's finger, so you can clash with a Kamehameha or a Final Flash. It consumes very little key bar, so it is very useful to get out of trouble. Rush attack that has an incredible damage, and the Solar Kamehameha, which is one of the strongest in the game. His explosive wave gives him that same advantage that we mentioned before, so Cell, if used properly, could be pretty broken. Number 7. Goku Super Saiyan Maximum Power. Well, besides there are 3 other versions of Super Saiyan Goku in the game, this is the one most seen during the Cell saga when Goku has his respective fight in the Cell tournament. It is the transformation of the Super Saiyan taken to the limit. The game has this version in the section of Goku End. It can be identified by the blonde tone of his hair. If we look carefully, the first Super Saiyan has a lighter shade, and this is more golden and detailed. Let's talk about the character. The qualities that this Goku has are many, but the one that stands out the most and the one that can be a determining factor in the fight, it's his ultimate. He's one of the only characters that teleports close to the rival to feed the maximum power on his face. No matter where you are on the map, this power will always hit you, and even though the rival has on some occasions the possibility of blocking it, if you can combine it with a burst combo, you will take more than a bar and a half of health. The instant Kamehameha is one of the best ultimates in the game. Besides his very traditional moveset of any Goku, which is always quite decent. This is an incredibly complete character. Number 6. Super 17. You knew this character was going to be here, since that first interaction with this villain in story mode. No matter what difficulty you play him on, he always seemed to generate all kinds of problems, and players did not take long to realize that. Super Android 17 has all the qualities to be a champion. He is an android, so his ki charges gradually, slower, but it charges, which leads him being pretty aggressive all the time, putting pressure on you. And if you are launching an energy attack, you run with the risk that it will be absorbed, and that energy now belongs to 17. His machine gun power has one of the most ridiculous multi-hit of the whole game, which if it gets to give you all, deals as much damage as an ultimate. His maximum power also does tremendous damage and has very long limbs, consequently has a lot of range on his attacks. Super 17, top tier without doubt. Number 5. Vegito. The fusion could not be missing, and Vegito is the power of a fusion in all its splendor. Fusions have more life bars by default, unlike other standard characters. They tend to have a preference when attacking giant enemies because of their ki level, and also have tremendous damage. Vegito, with his Big Bang attack, Super Kamehameha, and high speed techniques, makes him one of the easiest characters to use and have the most results he can give. When transforming into Super Vegito, the abilities change and become much more dangerous, with a rush attack and the final Kamehameha, an iconic attack for its damage. For that reason, I leave him at this point of the top. Number 4. Kid Buu. Yes sir, did you think I was not going to put it? This character is a legend of Dragon Ball games. He has been the nightmare of many players, not only at that time with this game, but in Shin Budokai, Ultimate Tenkaichi, and Fighters. I don't know what happens with the developers who programmed this rare bug. It seems they just like him to be broken. Here in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Kid Buu has one of the most range, tracking, and damaging rush attacks of all. These attacks where it becomes a ball is a complete nightmare. The Super Kamehameha that cannot go wrong, and an ultimate with extreme range and damage. You can also regenerate your health bar by taking a little nap. If you are a person who knows how to take advantage of Kid Buu at 100%, it is very difficult for someone to beat you. Number 3. Team Gohan Super Saiyan 2. I'm having a little deja vu with the top fighters characters, but I swear it is not on purpose. It appears these characters tend to be very good within the game mechanics that have to be implemented for the Dragon Ball universe to work. Gohan Phase 2 is one of the most complete characters because of his show of power in the manga. It was practically the version of a character that came out once and then we never see again until 7 years later with the adult Gohan version, and it was already an inferior version due to Gohan's lack of training. His Kamehameha covers a lot of range, has excellent damage, and only consumes 2 bars of ki. The burst of ki blasts is very useful to keep distance, and his ultimate, which I can say is one of the most elaborated and strongest of all the cast of characters. Number 2. Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. If you thought that this guy was going to be in the first place, you were wrong, but there is a reason for this, and in a moment I will explain it in depth. Broly in his legendary transformation is a very difficult brown beast to stop. He has a good distance repertory, great damage, a lot of range with his hits, utilities that allow him to charge his ki to the maximum, explosive wave to interrupt combos in critical situations, a devastating ultimate. He has it all. So what's the reason it's not in the first place? Well, it turns out that Broly is an outstanding character in large part thanks to his invulnerability to standard hits. This means that a fairly important fraction of the characters in the game cannot stun him while performing a combo on him, unless they replace it with a hit with a shock wave property. This is done by combining square attacks with triangle attacks. When you leave your rival without air with a hit to the stomach, when you launch a wave of energy, or when you finish the neutral combo. This makes 90% of the times Broly finish his combo first and submit the opponent easily. Well, as I said before, the developers implemented power levels to the characters based on their original versions of the manga. This means that a hit from a Super Saiyan Goku could not stun a Broly in legendary state, but Gogeta or Vegito can. There are many people capable of injuring Broly in this way. So, before going to the first place, I leave you a few honorable mentions that could get in the top also due to their abilities. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Trunks. Gogeta. Ultimate Gohan. Number 1. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Call me predictable, unoriginal, whatever you want, but the facts speak by themselves. Gogeta Phase 4 is the most complete character in the game. It has a tremendous energy discharge, speed attack easy to fit, and with a lot of damage. Also a glance. You can charge the ki to the maximum with his utilities and give him a power up in almost all of its characteristics. The ultimate Big Bang Kamehameha is one of the strongest energy discharge powers. Apart, it has the peculiarity that I mentioned at the point of Broly. It can stun him without any problem, so that Broly's massiveness is not an inconvenience. That's why, in my opinion, Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 is the strongest character in the entire game. Let me know in the comments if you agree, which characters would you put on your list, which deserves to be here, which doesn't. I will be reading your comments. I hope you like this little ranking, guys. Thank you so much for watching, that was all for today, and I will be watching you in the next video. Take care and see ya!